Let's watch this one. Women are making the first move. It's not going well. Oh, who could have guessed? Who could have guessed?
We live in an age where men are not approaching women in public anymore. They're not even sliding into their DMs. They're afraid of being seen as creepy. They're afraid of the consequences of the Me Too movement. And also, in my opinion, they're just being a little bit too timid. So, women have to become resourceful. They have to come up with their own solutions to this problem. And some of them are coming up with ways to make the first move on the guy they're interested in, especially if he happens to be someone that you work with. So, this is a bizarre idea, but I'm willing to entertain it as a possibility. They're stealing men's lunches in order.
Why is the first idea that comes up here so stupid? Why? Lady first though, yeah, but that's, going through a door, you open a door for a lady. Which I still do. I still open doors, but not only for women, for everyone. That's just in me, holding a door open. It's not a big deal. I do that for everyone. Unless they look like they are a cunt. But yeah, stealing your crush's lunch is stupid. Don't do that.
To get asked out on a date.
Is this the grown woman's version of a boy pulling on pigtails at a playground?
It's just a reason to talk to someone. If you're walking up.
Oh,
to...
is this yours? I am so sorry.
Yeah. If you're walking up to your female coworker to accuse her of stealing your food, well, it's
Do you have a girl? No. No. And I am not planning on
still a
getting one.
conversation.
Yeah.
Who knows what could happen.
I actually haven't talked to a woman outside of my family or, business stuff and grocery shopping in almost 8 years. And that's on my will. And I can tell you, my life has been so peaceful since then. Oh my God. It's so peaceful. Not trying to be with a woman is so peaceful, so little stress. It's awesome. I wish I had done this when I was 20. Would have saved me a lot of stress and pain and stuff like that.
The possibilities are endless. And this was spread by a TikToker named Nicole, talking about the current state of dating in New York City. She was the one who presented this idea, and it got a lot of attention. So let's take a look.
Got it here. Here we go.
Guys, the dating scene is getting so bad in New York City that I am seeing on TikTok there are girls going into Midtown during the week and stealing Finance Bros salads for lunch. And then looking their name up from the salad order on LinkedIn and then messaging them through there and being like, hey, oh my God, so sorry, I grabbed your salad. Like, let me just make it up to you and buy you a new one. And that's how they're like sliding in, which honestly, smart. Why are we stealing men's salads? Like, that's why can't they just come up to us at a bar? Like, why is it getting to this point? Men, just please step up, or your salad's gonna fucking get taken.
You young guys don't know, but at least since 2016, women say, leave us alone. Don't talk to us. Don't interact with us. You are disgusting. You are horrible. You are trash. And now this is happening. Oh, who could have guessed that, you know, treating the ones you want to marry and you want to be around like trash could backfire. Who could have guessed? This is so dumb.
Your lunch is gonna get taken every week. Like, I'm seeing girls get so creative these days. Like, they're making bracelets with their phone numbers on them and giving them to you guys at the bars.
That seems like a really bad idea.
Who knows
They
where
are
that could end up.
taking pictures of you sneakily and then being like, hey, oh my god, making it their phone screen, and then being like, hey, can you take a picture of me and my friends so you can see that your picture is their home screen? All just different ways to try to talk to you guys because you guys don't come up to us in New York City.
Now, if a man would do that, they would call him a creep. Keep that in mind. If a man would do all these things, he would be called a creep.
And it's crazy. Like, I know there's so many beautiful women. Like, just go up to one of them. Buy them a drink. You guys have money. You live in the city. You can buy a drink. Stop being cheapos.
Yeah, it's because they're
Stop
cheap.
being cheapos. I hate this woman, and I've never met her, but like just it's the attitude that I actually hate.
What do you
Yeah.
mean by that?
Oh, just the idea, like the idea that, you know, or the fact that she's like, oh, I don't even know why men can't just do this simple thing. Why can't you just go up to women and blah blah blah. This is such a ridiculous, ignorant take, and it just drives me nuts.
So you mean she should be aware of the fact that
She should put a tiny bit of effort
there are-
into understanding that there are other people that experience life differently to her. Like there's tons of dudes out there that talk about this kind of stuff all the time, but women aren't interested in listening to dudes at all. Women aren't interested in dudes what
Okay.
dudes think or how guys feel. They're not interested in how guys feel. They're not interested in what guys think. They're only interested in what will this guy do for me, and that's exactly her attitude right here.
Yeah.
It's 100%. the attitude.
100%.
She doesn't give a crap about like what guys experience or what guys go through or what it's like to be a young guy nowadays. She's just like, why aren't you doing what I want? Like an absolute scumbag.
Well, she did say she is not personally resorting to stealing men's food, but she has heard that this is becoming a trend and is considering it. I have to applaud just the creativity of that alone. I wouldn't have thought of that. That's quite.
Of stealing the lunch.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't
does-
have ever thought of that.
It harkens back to like it's the type of thing you imagine hearing from like a married couple who has a creative story about how they got together.
Yes, or if a married couple does something like that's fine. You know, if you're married and prank each other, in a loving way that both of you find funny, that's completely fine. But this is just, like I said, if a man would do that, he would be a creep. And yes, we never win.
Meet cutes.
It's a very
Meet cutes are a thing of the past.
Unfortunately, it doesn't sound real to me. It sounds like a Hollywood writer's idea more than a real person's idea of how people actually get together.
She
and meet.
says she knows women who do this. I don't know what to make of it. But to what you said, Phil, I am interested in men's perspectives about this, and I've read a lot of them and listened to a lot of them, and I just disagree. From the bottom of my heart, I disagree with the idea that men are hesitant to ask women out because of Me Too. Usually what they say is, it's because of Me Too. I don't want to catch a case because I came up to a girl at a bar, whatever.
But that's an actual real danger. It's a real danger. That can happen. Well, it's most likely to happen if she doesn't find you attractive. If she finds you attractive, you can take a dump in her mouth as long as she finds you attractive. You're fine. If she finds you unattractive and you sit at your side in a bus, you are in prison with one leg. That's basically what's going on.
don't think that that is tethered to reality. You're not in any serious danger of catching a lawsuit or a criminal case by saying hello to a woman you find attractive in a public setting. Yeah, you shouldn't be engaging in high-risk behavior of hooking up with random strangers that you don't know
think she doesn't
and have no
engage
reason
in,
to trust.
Do you think she doesn't engage in those type of high-risk behaviors? Do you think that the people that she's thinking should be coming up to her, do you think she thinks those people would not be engaging in high-risk behaviors? Or do you think that the people that she actually would want to talk to, she wouldn't engage in high risk behaviors or wouldn't want them to
Okay.
engage.
I'm not saying that she or the men she's interested in wouldn't do that. I'm just saying the risk in hooking up with a stranger is real. The risk in talking to a stranger is completely something that you blow out of proportion in your mind, especially for men in their 20s these days. The worst case scenarios that they're coming up with about what could happen if they talk to a woman that they find attractive at a bar or wherever is totally fairy tale level. I mean,
No, it's not. Because there are videos out there that show what happens.
you're not going to get sued for saying hello to a woman or offering to buy her a drink. That
Do you
is
think that it's-
absolutely insane.
Do you think guys are only worried about like legal ramifications?
I'm talking about their explanations, which I think are insane. They are the ones saying it's because of Me Too. My perspective is that's a really flattering way about saying to every
How they know about men when they are not ones. Exactly. Exactly. It's because they don't care. They only want what's good for them. They don't care about anyone else or anything else. They only pretend.
everyone, I'm too scared to talk to women because rejection terrifies me.
Yeah, okay. So I basically I agree with that. I think when guys say Me Too, they're not thinking of it as just legal repercussions, though that they do think that's possible. And because of the way that the internet is, feeds people information, because of that, I think that they think that it happens more than it does. But I do think that the more common ramifications of like being embarrassed, being made fun of, possibly being put on blast, put on the internet, filming something and putting it on the internet and embarrassing you. I think those are the things that they're more concerned with when they say Me Too. And I think that it's just, I think the Me Too, or the phrase Me Too, is more of a colloquially describing the situation than actually, actually.
He's 100% right. 100%. That's it is. That's what it is. An example from my life. My first girlfriend I got at 18. I literally walked up to her at school while she was surrounded by her friends and classmates and started talking to her, asking her out. Can you imagine how big my balls were at that moment? But I also only asked her out because, number one, I knew she found me attractive because she was friends with my brother and they picked up before school. And one time I came out of the bath half naked, and she and another girl was standing there looking at me, giggling. So I knew, she finds me attractive. And I found her attractive. Was really cute. And and then the weekend before I asked her out, I was at a party. I got drunk. I first time smoked weed. I had my first kiss with a former classmate, and I grabbed my first tit. Yeah, and after that weekend, I had the balls to ask her out. Great. Uh, but I wish I hadn't, because she was a completely bala bala, and she completely destroyed me. Never trust a beautiful face. Never.
Than being arrested or being accused of.
But what I actually wanted to talk about, there was no fear of, being recorded and, having that spread online when she says no, you. But these days, that's a possibility because everyone has a camera. That's a problem.
Rape or whatever.
But even if we're talking about getting put on blast on social media. You're letting your algorithm convince you live in a world that doesn't exist. Going up to a woman at a bar, do you think she's about to pull out her phone, start recording, and say, "He's raping me, he's
No,
raping me"?
again.
I mean, that's not... That's...
I have literally seen women saying that. Like, literally. I mean, okay, of course, it was videos where I've seen that. I mean, not out there. But I've seen crazy people. I've seen a woman, when I was out for a walk, that she was about that height, and she, about 10, 15 years older than me, and tried to start a fight with me randomly. I didn't know her. I didn't talk to her. I think I've never seen her before or since. Completely insane, that bitch. Jesus Christ. So never underestimate crazy people.
It's just
The-
not going to happen.
But you again went to the raping stuff.
Well, no, I'm
don't
just
think
saying,
I
I'm
don't
making
think
a
that
joke.
it's.
But you think she's going to start recording and being like, "Look at this creep. He came up to me at a bar. Everyone on TikTok, go find his LinkedIn page and make him lose his job." Like, that's not
Again,
real.
Jumping to the losing the job thing. Like, the point that I'm making is just embarrassing them, making a fool out of them, not legal repercussions, not lose your job, not
Okay.
these kind of bad things happening in your life. The point that I'm making, because dudes, when they're young, they're very sensitive to being.
What is she even talking? She tries to defend women. She tries to defend women. And make the fear of the man look stupid. It's very simple.
Embarrassed. They don't want to be embarrassed, and it's embarrassing enough for a woman to say no, to shoot you down. Then throw in the possibility that maybe she filmed it, or maybe she does film it, or whatever kind of other.
Or someone else filmed it. The thing is, the fear of that is there because people have seen videos where exactly that happened. That's the thing, it happened. And you don't know if the cute girl you are trying to approach is insane. You don't know. You just don't. You have always a 50-50 chance of being a crazy bitch or not.
Scenarios that they can make up in their mind. Add that into the fact that people are generally not socialized the way that they used to be because of the internet and because of smartphones. You're not going out and trying things and failing and learning things on your own. Like, when little kids have to be allowed to try to do things, mess it up, and figure out how to do it. And nowadays,
Yes, I completely agree. 100%. That's when I have kids in the future. Most likely will never happen. I will have them be outside trying to just playing all the time. I mean, I did that. I mean, not all the time because I was more the indoorsy type of guy. But I went out and built a dam under a bridge and a place where I should not have been because my mother told me to not go there. I went places where I shouldn't have gone all the time. All the time. And some places were actually dangerous, like going into the park. We weren't allowed to because without an adult, because there were, bums that getting drunk, and you don't know what they do with a little child. So that was the reason why we weren't allowed to go into a park. It actually makes sense. We just ignored it because we didn't know. And also, just telling the kids don't go there, that doesn't work. You have to give them an actual reason. That works. well, it might work. Kids still are, dumb because they don't have the life experience, which is a major thing. It's not because they are just dumb, it's because they don't have the life experience. The moment they get the life experience, they change. I mean, I'm not the same person I was even 10 years ago. Not 20 years ago, not 25 years ago, not 30 years ago. I'm a different person. That's just, life. Back to the video.
Parents will spend so much time doing everything for the kids that kids are not resilient. When you do, and that's been the way for all of Gen Z. They've been essentially bubble babies. They're the whole world has been made flat for them. Snowplow parents and stuff like that. And when you have a generation that's raised like that, they're not resilient enough to take the slings and arrows of reality. Kids bring their parents to job interviews now. So these things are the problem. And sure, so maybe guys are catastrophizing and they're thinking, oh, this terrible thing could happen. But the reason they're catastrophizing like that is because they're not resilient. They don't have the ability to say, well, she didn't like me, no big deal, can go to the next one.
And there are reports, there are videos about, things happening. Like the one guy that saved a woman from drowning, and then she sued him for rape because he moved her unconscious body. Yeah. And the guy lost all his friends, his family, and his job. Just because that dumb woman is being a dumb woman. It's horrible.
It's a major injury to their ego and to their self-esteem. And when you can barely get up the gumption to go out into the world and look the cash register, the person at the cash register in the eye, trying to talk to someone is far more difficult. Trying to talk to someone, especially when you're like, oh, maybe see if she likes me. It's just more difficult for kids that are not properly socialized. And I'm not saying this is a good thing. I'm not saying this is the way it should be. I think that parents should actually spend more time socializing their kids and letting their kids go out and play and do things that are where they're going to fail and fall and hurt themselves and learn that it's not the end of the world. But
yes, 100%. I mean, I have a lot of scars, but a lot of scars from just falling. I know I have a scar here on the knee. I have that when I fell when I was about 3 or 4 years old, when I was going swimming with my grandparents. I just fell out of the car, when I remember correctly. It's 40 years, almost 40 years ago, so I don't know. I just fell out of the car, hit my knee, it was bleeding, I was crying. But that wasn't, hugely traumatic. That was just, it happened. Whatever. Just move on. I have. Where was it? A scar here on the thumb. I have that from in school from how's sawing through wood, and I cut me with the saw blade. Whatever. Bled a little, doesn't matter. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Yes, you get scars, you get hurt, but at the end, it doesn't matter. Now my back problems, they matter. They actually influence me. They are bad, but I got them because I'm sitting around all day. Says the screamer. But actually getting hurt, like literally falling or stuff like that, whatever. Yes, you hurt yourself, but then it's over. You hurt yourself, it hurts for a while, then it's over. Like, when kids break their leg, oh my God, it's so horrible. Not, no. They break their leg, they get a cast, and then their friends um, write their names on it. How did that happen? It's an interesting story to tell. That's not a bad thing. It's just something that happens. Now in America, it's a bad thing because it's expensive. But that's the only thing. And that's America specific. In Germany, no one cares. Like, go out in the woods for a walk with your kids. They will have fun. Even if they throw stones around, who cares? Or beat each other with a stick. Who cares? Let them play. Now, you step in when it's getting overboard, of course. But you have to let them figure out stuff for themselves.
Her perspective doesn't give any consideration to that. It's, oh, I'm this great thing, and why don't men know it, and why aren't you coming up to me? And if you don't, well, you're a loser, you're this, blah 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 blah, and all these things that are automatically, all these aspersions that are cast onto guys. I think that her perspective is actually the unrealistic one, or is more unrealistic than the guys who are self-conscious and expected to go and do all the things for the girls. Like, I just think that her perspective is very self-centered and very much doesn't think of what it's like to be a young guy nowadays.
No, I agree. We have a couple of 20s. Weary Traveler said Phil is 100% correct. And another from B. Mauser, even a short neutral video posted to TikTok or Facebook post can be embarrassing and damage friendships, jobs, etc. Okay, I completely grasp what you're saying. She doesn't really develop a theory of mind for the men in these scenarios, and everyone needs to
Great
think
phrase.
about something from another person's perspective and step into their shoes. And I agree that she's coming at it from a totally self-absorbed view of these interactions. But I also agree with what you're saying about the way Gen Z has been socialized, or actually not socialized.
Yes.
And the fear of rejection in young men today is so much more severe, I think, than any previous generation of men. I mean, that is a universal human experience. The fear of rejection, that's something that we just have, but it's been built into something so monumental. Yep. And it is unrealistic on the part of the guys to assume that those scenarios are going to take place. It's also unrealistic of the girls to assume that everything in dating and interpersonal interactions with the opposite sex is going to go the way that they please.
Yes. She's completely right here. Of course. I mean, I got rejected. Of course I got. I mean, But the thing is, I got more rejected online than in real life. In real life, when I actually talk to a woman, I actually have a really high success rate. But I basically never did that. Basically never did that. But I think I have a success rate of 50%. Like overall. So that's actually high. That's really high. But I also have to say, back in the day, I was actually handsome. Being a bodybuilder and then talking to a woman and having a full head of hair. Yeah, it works out. Who could have guessed? But the thing is, I'm now way more comfortable in talking to people than I was back in the day. Like, I have way more self-esteem. Which, by the way, the low self-esteem was one of the reasons I did bodybuilding. Because I had nothing to offer aside of, looking good to women. So I did that. And now it's exact opposite. It's the exact opposite. Which is funny. And back to the video.
Now, it seems like women have thought, okay, I guess we have to take matters into our own hands. And they also, being human, fear rejection and have difficulty, processing it afterwards. I came across this example of a woman.
Yes, but women getting rejected is rare. Which most likely is due to the fact that most women don't approach men at all. Like, at all. I mean, I got approached by a woman, I think, twice. One when I was, I think, 19. And I told her that I was thinking about it over the weekend and tell her the next Monday. And I rejected her. Which she countered with, oh yeah, I met someone on the weekend. Works out for me, no drama. And the other time was a Latina. And that didn't work out because she's crazy. I mean, she's a Latina, of course she's crazy. When have you met a Latina that's not crazy? Jesus Christ. But to be fair, she was also a tiny woman, like a small woman with abs, super hot. And overall, she was super hot, but she was also a single mother. Never date a single mother, unless she's a widow, and even then you have to be very, 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 very cautious. And the entire situation was, I mean, I danced with her, I made out with her, but that's it. But yeah, that was a decently good evening for me. Or night. Yeah, night. Because we did that until it got day again. Like, literally. I started walking home when the sun was already coming up. I think it was 5 a.m. The entire night I was just with her, dancing in a pub and drinking and making out. Hilarious. And then there was the moment where she went outside with a knife. Something her ex-boyfriend. Oh, Jesus. Crazy situation. But let's get back to the video.
Who took her friend's advice and decided to make the first move on a guy at a bar. And it did not go her way. And this was what she posted after the fact.
Here we go.
I think I owe the men of the world an apology. Let me explain. Before you
What's
come
the
to my
fist
comments.
for?
Yeah, I don't know what that is about.
I always think to myself, why don't men just approach women? Why? It's not that hard. Just say hi. Just say hi. Your hair is pretty. It's not that hard, right?
Okay, she can't understand her own gender if she thinks walking up to a woman and saying your hair
is pretty.
Like,
Can I have a piece?
There's 30 years of
Like, what is
there's
that?
30 years of movies of people being portrayed saying that exact thing is creepy.
Yeah.
So
Yep. He's right. He's right. And she's right too. Women don't understand themselves. Not under women. How is there such a disconnect between women? Why are you saying, oh, it's not right, just say that thing? But that thing is literally a thing you get made fun of. Being called a creep. What is this?
100%,
okay, let's
100%.
continue.
Well, last night I learned it is hard, okay? And let me tell you what happened. So I'm just sitting at the bar with my buddies, just having a fun time, and in walks some men who were attractive. One in particular, I was like, wow, he's very handsome. So I'm chatting with my friends who are all male in this conversation. I'm like, what do I do? Because I don't really approach men ever, but I also don't ever get approached. So anyway, I'm thinking to myself, How bad could it be?
Very.
So they suggest I send him a drink. And I'm like, brilliant. Oh my gosh, I've never done that before. That's so smart. So I
Yeah, and here's the problem. In today's, men are dangerous thing. If a man does that, the rule is to not take the drink for a woman. That's what the social media influencers and stuff say, because it can be laced with, drugs. So don't take it. So she literally does the thing that, ooh, danger, creepy. Isn't that funny?
sent him his drink of choice, which was a Corona with lime. Whatever. Should have known. Anyway, so some time goes by,
That's her own defense mechanism creeping in.
and he has not acknowledged that I've sent this drink. So I'm like, okay, I guess I just go over there. I walk up and I say, hey, how's your beer? I like bat my eyelashes, And he looks at me and he goes, oh, you sent this? Yeah, I did. It was me. And then he said nothing. 0 words exchanged. And you know that gif of Britney Spears where she's like holding her purse and she's just standing there looking around like this? That was me in real life. And we just stared at each other. And I said, okay, enjoy your night. And then I had to turn around and march my way back to my little bar stool.
Just like a man would. Welcome. Welcome at being a man. Welcome at now knowing the average experience of a man. But hey, it's not hard, they say. But never have done it before themselves.
wrapped in rejection. And now I have to think about that for the rest of my life.
How many the
So, gentlemen, I'm sorry. That shit sucked.
dudes, for a dude, that's actually like, all right, well, that was okay, because guys like the first or the one of the most common rejections, like, sure, they could smile and laugh and say no thank you, and that that would be nice. That's actually probably the preferred rejection.
Yeah, that's absolutely the preferred reaction. Yeah, when they smile and say, "Oh, thank you, but I'm not interested." That's the nicest thing a woman can say when she rejects you, and that should be standard and not laughing or saying "ew" or something like that.
But like, it is completely realistic to think that a guy would be like, hey, and the girl would go, ew. And that right there is far worse than just saying, oh, you sent this, and then not saying anything. Like, I mean, literally, ew. Like that kind of stuff is completely within the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. What he should have said to reject her, that, sorry, but you aren't my type. There. It's polite. It's unspecific. But the thing is, woman. No, I don't say that she would have done it. But we all know there are women that then would go, oh, what is your type? Accept the rejection. Just accept it. And move on. And no, there's nothing to learn about out of that for you, because it's just a thing that happened. There's just, he doesn't want you for whatever reason, and you move on. And the thing is, I can guarantee you that woman can find a husband within 6 months. Easy. Because she isn't ugly. Now, she isn't super attractive, but she isn't ugly. I want no one in the comments or whatever say that she's ugly. She isn't. I have seen ugly women. I go out of on the street and I see ugly woman. She isn't ugly. She isn't super pretty, but she isn't ugly. She is a 4 or a 5. That's completely fine. You could completely marry her and have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 children with her. She's completely fine. But if you don't find her attractive at all, that's something completely different. Now, is she my type? Not really. But that might be a thing that I actually want a lot of children when I be with a woman again. You know, like 4. At least. So, I need them to be young and breathable. But yeah, I'm not looking for, oh God, I want a 10. Why what would I do with a 10? A 10 doesn't. I need a woman that goes in the garden and gets fresh onions out of the dirt. That's a woman that I need. That's a woman that I want. Not one that, oh, my fingernails. I don't care. You need to do housework. You need to take care of the children, of the garden, just like I. It's that simple.
I think, maybe people are beginning to understand each other.
It reminds me of that Jordan the Stallion like TikTok where a woman goes like, ask a girl out. What's the worst that could happen? He goes, no. I was in high. I'm paraphrasing. He was like, I was in high school and I went up to a popular girl and asked her to the prom. She goes, that must have been really difficult for you.
That's so brave.
Like
She basically-
again,
Yeah. Yeah.
Just the
you
most-
never know what the worst case scenario
and
is.
then you have to remember when women use shame as a tool.
Yeah.
A girl might not
They use it all the time, by the way.
be interested in dating a guy, but if her friends are around, or even within earshot, way more of a chance that she insults him to raise her level according to her friends
I see.
Yeah.
than than to just be like no thank you.
Well, if your friends think that's cool, they're shitty people, and so are you. But
Well, I
a
mean,
lot of shitty people out there.
how are you supposed
Not
to know
surprising.
when you're just risking going up to some
Yeah.
girl cold, So it's, I really think that women have unrealistic expectations of men, considering the context that we're in.
This
Yes.
phenomenon will be omnipresent as long as the internet exists, because now as women commiserate their stories on TikTok, yeah, she might not say, he raped me. She might not even name him by name, but just the idea of this video getting made about some poor interaction, only he needs to see it for it to be humiliating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Only he needs to know that she's
Well,
going
it was
to talk about
supposed
this.
to be a story that was
I'm talking about
embarrassing
the first
about
video.
herself.
I'm talking about the type of
Oh.
woman in the first video who's making a video. Again, I have an irrational hatred for videos of people putting their makeup on while talking about stuff like this. I hate it.
Yeah.
I think it's intentionally dismissive and manipulative to coerce you into feeling a connection to this person because they're putting their makeup on while they're talking about these things. And the idea that, you go out there and you risk, embarrassment. Maybe she doesn't embarrass you in person. Is that any better than her telling some story to 100,000 followers online? And they don't have to start out that way. Sometimes it's a person with 5 followers and the video goes viral.
Sure.
And then it's seen by everyone.
Look-
Again, that's not to say that it's rational.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that
Yeah.
that is a rational thought, but the illusion of wanting to go back to a time where men go, "Oh, hello, madam," and then they kiss them on the hand. Women aren't the women they were in the 1960s.
Shaken, not stirred.
Women aren't the women they were in the 1960s anymore. Women are not the prim and proper creatures that they were then, and men are not the same creatures that they were then.
Yeah.
Both, I would say honestly, both of them for the worse. And women
I 100% agree. 100%. 100%. Like people back then were just They were just mentally stronger, physically stronger, especially the men, and they were just better people. It's just fundamentally it. Like, I absolutely believe that Western culture was best before World War One. I think that's when Western culture peaked. Like culture-wise, not technology-wise. We aren't talking technology. We are talking culture. Two different things. And I absolutely think that before World War One, the West was way better off. Especially Europe. Holy cow, Europe is done for, culture-wise. Totally done.
Women want the behavior from a time that is long since past, while not being willing to
Yes.
sacrifice, or at least understand that the time we live in now doesn't condone it.
Yeah, I appreciate what you're saying. I appreciate what Phil is saying. My thing is there's no obvious solution there other than
No, there
exposure
isn't.
therapy.
I mean, like so here's the thing. Like there was the guy we did like the
I actually agree with her. You have to put just people together. Like, I'm in the belief that people who never suffered in their life can't be good people. Like, actually good people. Sorry. And that's why I'm for putting people for 2 years into a village where they have to survive basically on their own. They have rations from the people that were there before, and they have to, work for their own food, for everything, and then they have to make lasting food for the next people that come. But they have to actually work. There's no electricity, nothing. Now there is one guy living there that has electricity, so he can call when an emergency happens, stuff like that. But that's it. Aside of that, they're all on their own. They all have to survive there. Yes, men and women together. And I think that would be very, very beneficial for everyone, for the entire society. Men and women were never the same and never will be physically or whatever. You are completely correct. They never were. They never were. And that's the thing. They complete each other. While the men are out there hunting and a little bit gathering, the women are at home taking care of everything that's there. And this unity works perfectly. How do we know it? Because that's how it worked everywhere in the world. Like every civilization. If you look at every civilization ever in history, family was its basis. Always. And what do you get when you erode family? You destroy society and civilization. And that's what's happening right now.
Fringe of the day guy goes, he went to Disney World, he asked 100 women out. Remember? Like, didn't we
What?
do this? A guy goes to
This
like
might have
Dis-
been when I was out of town.
and,
What?
and the whole point was that he wasn't expecting to hear yes from any of them. He's like, oh, you're pretty. Want to go out? Oh, you're like, and he would just go from woman to woman to woman to woman to woman to ask. I don't remember if it was ask them out or tell them they're pretty. But the point was, he would just go up to random women and say this. So if we're talking exposure therapy, like that's the guy's way of reasserting control of that situation. Like, I'm going to turn it into content before you can turn it into content.
No, probably the more valuable aspect of that would be the fact that he's going and talking to people far
Yes.
more than he would make on any video that he
But
made.
they're not willing to do it without turning it into content.
Just to be fair, I see just as many videos of women telling their stories about creepy men as I see men with smart glasses recording their cold approaches to women in public. I
And they
see
shouldn't. I've never seen that, but they shouldn't be
just
doing
as
that.
many of those types of videos recording strangers as I see women telling stories about the awful dates that they've been on.
And both of those people are bad.
And they're all despicable, and everyone
Yes.
has room for improvement.
They're both bad. And I completely agree that to fundamentally what he says, to be able to comfortably approach someone for you're interested in them, you need to be comfortable to talk to people. I 100% agree with that. Now, how do you get to the point? You have to talk to people. You have to be around people. How do you get that? Well, go to church or mosque or whatever, or become a club member, sport, or I don't know, whatever you're interested in. For example, if you want to be around women, join a cooking club or a club for sewing. Then you have to interact with women. And all this fear of interacting with women goes away. Because you literally have to. And when you are scared of, they will find out I'm uncomfortable, just tell them outright. Yeah, I'm here to learn swing, but also talking to people because I lack social skills. I'm one reason I'm here is doing that. Now, does that take balls to say? Of course it does. And you are literally showing on people you don't know a weak spot that can be attacked. That takes a lot of balls to admit. But it can be worth it.
Okay, the most black pilling part about the article about this was like, it says dating apps are dead, DMs are creepy, and no one approaches anyone in the wild anymore. Well, if you can't even muster up like a well-written approach online where theoretically you have an even like worse chance of success because there's a gazillion people who have the ability to send a DM and are probably more bold there than they are in the real world. Like, if you can't even muster up a well-written DM to court a woman on the internet, your chances are even less good in the real world. So what does that leave? Church? Is this what they're gonna say? Church? We all know that that's, from everything that I know, from the people that I know that are religious, that's not the answer either, because they're not hanging out in church anymore.
That's why my best advice to anyone asking me, of all people, for dating advice, which I find ridiculous in the first place, is just to be open and not to compartmentalize your dating life and your social life and your professional life in these little clean, neat boxes, and just to be open to saying yes to literally everything. That's the best advice I can muster up.
The thing is, these days with Me Too, you can't date anymore on your workplace. It's way too dangerous for a man. A woman, sure, but man, no, I wouldn't, never. But she's correct. If you want to find someone to date, get out there. Literally, I mean that literally. Don't sit in front of the computer. Get out. Find an outside hobby. Like, you like hiking? Great. Hike with other people. All of a sudden, women around you. You I don't know. Want to learn a skill? Okay, learn a skill. Go to a club to learn a skill. You want to do something for the environment? I can guarantee you there's something at your town, village, or whatever where that something collecting trash or whatever. You will find women there. Just get out there and live life. Don't sit in front of the computer all day. And I know what I'm talking about. I literally sat in front of a computer for almost 20 years, which is really, 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 really bad. Really bad. Like, really, really bad. Don't be a NEET. If you're a NEET, you will ruin your life. Now, don't get me wrong, there are neat things about being a NEET. But the negatives are way bigger than the positives.
I just I don't think, as long as the internet exists and people are the way they are, both men and women, this won't change. In fact, it's only going to get worse. On top of the fact that so much of it is used for content fodder and the sake of trying to pit men and women against each other, when it's never that simple.
Well, it does make the playing field easier for the people who actually want to try.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and
Yep, subscribe, like, yeah. This was a decent video. This was a decent video, yeah. We had agreed, I agreed with a lot of stuff. I disagreed with some. This looked nice. This was